Most of my students have DSLR, but they still use auto mode. And there they lose control on the kind of picture they want to take. Today we will discuss exposure. If you understand exposure, then 90% of your goal is achieved. Now you can control your camera and capture picture as you like. So exposure is the unit of measurement for the total amount of light permitted to reach the electronic sensor during the process of taking a photograph. To understand right exposure, we must understand triangle of exposure. There are three elements which determine quality and quantity of light acquired by sensor: aperture, shutter speed, and ISO. Aperture controls the area over which light can enter in your camera. A wider aperture or lower f number means more light will be let in by the lens simply because the opening is larger. A narrower aperture or higher f number allows less light to reach the sensor. Depth of field. Now you might wonder why we would ever want less light to reach the sensor. The answer the majority of time is that we want a larger depth of field. Depth of field is a byproduct of aperture. Narrow aperture gives a greater depth of field, allowing more of a scene to be in focus. Mostly landscapes are captured with narrower aperture. On the contrary, wider aperture gives shallow depth of field. In portrait photography, we want to use wider aperture to blur the background, which help to isolate subject from noise of background. Okay, second element is shutter speed. Shutter speed is the time for which shutter is open and fully exposed to camera sensor. Faster shutter speed gives the sensor less time to collect light, and slower shutter speeds allow more time to sensor to collect light and result in more light. Faster shutter speed allows us to freeze the motion and therefore helps to get sharp picture, whereas slower shutter speed creates motion blur which spoils picture but can also be used for creative photography. ISO is the level of sensitivity of your camera sensor to available light. The lower the ISO number, the less sensitive it is to the light.